What's up, y'all? It's Johnny Plays WoW, and I'm back with another banger of an exploration video for you. Today, we are exploring the uninstanced version of Stratholme that exists in the far north of the Eastern Plaguelands map. This was all recorded on live WoW servers in patch 11.2.5. I wanted to check this out before Blizzard modifies the area in midnight. From my perch atop the hill, we can already see some pretty interesting things, like the plane that is supposed to represent the smoke and fire from the burning city. Since we're seeing it from an unintended angle, it's flattened out quite a bit. We can also see some reverse face culling and broken geometry of the city proper. We'll get a really good look at more of that as we explore. The most interesting thing here is the floating untextured alpha version of Naxxramas in the distance, and I am really excited to get a look at it up close. To get down into the city, let's fire up our best friend, Noggenfogger Elixir, to get Slowfall and jump on down. I totally got Slowfall first try and didn't have to chain it like 5 times in a row and then edit it all out. I also didn't expect to hit the ground so quickly. I kind of thought there would be more barriers, invisible walls, but that's not the case. Just jump on down. If you're familiar with Stratholme from either Classic or the mainline game, you can probably tell things aren't quite right. This is, of course, the base geometry that has existed in the game for decades. This was a development technique used to avoid making multiple changes across different versions of the terrain, which was then used as the base plate for what players would see in the actual instances. According to my research, Stratholme was added to the World of Warcraft in patch 0.1. So this here may very well be the absolute earliest version of the Stratholme geometry. We can see the ground textures aren't quite right on the street, and as we continue, we'll see some very different things compared to other versions of the dungeon. Something that's interesting right away is the triggers on objects actually work here, unlike in the version of Zul'Aman that we looked at last time. Remember, the doors didn't work in there at all, but here we can actuate the portcullis like normal. If this didn't open, then this video would have been pretty lame. As we come through this tunnel from King's Square, we encounter this weird purple effect that seems to be part of a dome. I don't know what this is about, but be prepared to see it a few times as we explore. Out here, some of the buildings are embedded in the hill terrain surrounding the city. These hills are not present inside the instance, of course. Moving through this square and into the tunnel toward the side entrance, or most likely the entrance you have used to go to Deadstrat proper. Inside the church here, we encounter some Doodad General Church Pew 05, which is a mouthful. Anyway, we'll take a quick sit down here before moving on. We also have what appear to be fallen heroes of the light given their places of honor in the church. We'll open this next gate too and carry on toward the first ziggurat on our visit. Here's some of the mountains I was talking about. These shouldn't be here looming over the city at all, and it's kind of disconcerting to me to see these for some reason. We have our purple dome again here, and given the inner layer that is a different color than the outside, I have to assume the dome was placed over a specific object near this part of the world map. Inside the ziggurat is business as usual, nothing strange. Back outside, we'll take another look at the world map and see we are quite clearly out of bounds of the Eastern Plaguelands by now. We'll head down here and get jump scared by the ominous purple dome coming out of nowhere. It actually did surprise me when I was recording the footage. The effect being visible from only specific angles to me reinforces the theory that this was placed intentionally around a specific piece of terrain. The inside of this ziggurat is also business as usual, but seeing the purple effect clip in and out is always fun. Before we go into this tunnel, I noticed the game believes we are in Quel'Thalas, which of course is on a completely separate map. If you didn't know, all of Outland shares the same map as Ghostlands and Quel'Thalas since they were patched in at the same time in Burning Crusade. But that's a topic for another day. We are clearly not in Quel'Thalas. Opening this portcullis brings us out to the last ziggurat, though in a proper run, this would probably be the second one you visit. Our ominous purple dome is here too, and once again, the inside of the ziggurat is business as usual. After being dismounted by the tunnel, we come back here and get a really good look at the burning city. It is very ominous by itself, and it does feel like we're in a ruined city. The design team did a great job with Stratholme, apparently right from the beginning. Now it's time for the main event, the Slaughterhouse, where we'd face the final boss of the dungeon, Baron Rivendare and his Abomination Guard. But before we go into the Slaughterhouse, I want to get a really good look at that floating Naxxramas model, which is right through this side tunnel. Now, originally, just like the Molten Core raid is accessible via the Blackrock Depths dungeon, Naxxramas was to be accessed via Stratholme. This tunnel is still in the game, but obviously we aren't allowed to go down as far as we can here. And we can even see the leftover raid zone portal, which is just for show. As we come through this gate, we see yet another slaughterhouse, and then boom, untextured Naxxramas. This is probably the coolest shit I have ever seen in the game. I was super excited to find this, and I really like the, I guess, liquid cascading down from the necropolis. This platform was intended to be a teleporter to the raid above, and as we know, this was instead moved outside into Eastern Plaguelands proper. I think the weird purple effect works really well here, and while it isn't centered over Naxxramas as I kind of expected, it does add to the charm. The platform has collision, which surprised me given that it was never actually used by players, and in fact, the buildings along the walls have no collision. We'll come over here and see that this slaughterhouse is unfinished. Yeah, there's nothing inside here. And I'm not going to jump in because I'm not convinced we'd ever be able to get back out. Now let's go back and check out Rivendare's slaughterhouse. We can't get behind it. There's an invisible wall here, so we might as well go in. Unfortunately, that same invisible wall intersects at the bottom of the stairs. I spent about 10 minutes trying to get through it, but was not able to do so. As you can see from this footage, eventually I was able to get outside the walls and explore the area around Stratholme. But that's for next time. I had a ton of fun exploring this and recording footage. In the comments, let me know your favorite thing about these inaccessible areas. To me, it's the thrill of seeing very early versions of places that I know and love in the game. Thanks for watching, friends. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.